Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM. And this kit is quite interesting because here we get the truck in 135 scale, but this one also should be a quite famous one. As you can see, it's named the Monty's Office Caravan, and we have here the kit number 35603. And in the meantime, I'm also trying to find what is the main difference. Probably it will be the parts, so the difference from the previous versions of the Leyland Retriever will be the parts supplied here. We also should have the interior, as you can see it's written in that corner. And what I have here on the table, it's the final shape of this release, and it means you will be getting exactly the same stuff if you order it from Modelimex, for example. And of course it will be interesting to see what is actually supplied here. So first of all, the box size is kind of similar to what was in the previous releases. So here you can see comparison with my hand. The box art is really nice, by the way. I think it would make a really cool poster as well. Here on the side you can see some information about the kit, so I will have to tilt it a bit in order to read it myself. So it's written there are 436 parts, which is rather impressive, and the length of the finished model will be 202 millimeters. And here on the opposite side you can see three marking options which are included here, so both are interesting in their own sense, but of course it will be your decision which one to pick. And of course we will check them a bit more detailed view when we will be reading through the assembly manual. What I'm doing right now is cutting through the plastic seals, which is already a typical feature for ICM boxes. So if those seals are torn like this, for example, it means somebody was trying to open the box or even open the whole box. But here, as you can see, all others are intact, so probably I just need to say thank you to our dear postal office. Nevertheless, here you can see that the box structure is standard for this brand as well. We have this flexible top section, and it does not provide any protection, while this section provides. And if I open it, inside you'll find plenty of sprues, and as you can see the fitment is up to the top. So keep it in mind, maybe try not to press too much on the box, try not to push or to put anything extra on the top, because it might end up not that nicely. And I'm removing all of the sprues now, so just give me a second. And we will check everything together. So, first of all is the sprue R, and here you can see it. This one is obviously will be dedicated to the rear section parts. Maybe I'll open the lenses so that it will be a bit brighter for you. But overall, it's really nice that this roof section is molded as a single piece part. As you can see, we have quite convincing structure. It nicely plays on the light, and I think it can be even better with some pre-shading and weathering done. So definitely spend some time and you'll be actually rewarded with a nice result. But what is also cool here is that we also get some features on the bulkheads. So if I zoom in and show you this part closer, here you can see them. And also these are obviously the interior parts, so I guess we will have to check the assembly manual in order to understand where they will be installed. But here you can also notice that the roof panel has the internal structure just like as this bulkhead. So this is really cool because manufacturer does not skip on the features. So even if it's barely visible on the finished model, we still have it included, and I think it might be important for some diorama ideas. Next sprue is M, and here you can see more panels for the rear section. We also have these cutouts for the clear parts, obviously, and if I flip it over here inside, you can see also some guiding elements, but I think everything should be easy to combine together. Usually ICM kits are quite fun in this sense, so I don't think you'll have any major issues here. Next, we continue with more panels. So I guess what we saw before, it was the probably interior panels, while here we have the exterior panels. And why? Because if I zoom in and maybe show you one of them like this, you can see here we have the internal structure of this sidewalls and also the straps which are holding the sides in place. And also here you can see some wooden parts but without the wooden texture. And by the way, if I flip it over here, you can see again the guiding elements and also this separate door here. So quite an interesting design, and of course the separate doors, they're always welcome, especially if we have the full interior. I think it's quite important to get it in this scale, so definitely an advantage. And next we continue with the sprue N. This one again comes with parts for the rear section, and it looks like the rear section will be rather busy. There are a lot of stuff going inside, so definitely try to plan the painting process accordingly, because otherwise you might end up with some parts really difficult to reach and then it will be a mess. But as for the surface details, well, here you can see it again. It looks really good here and here. And also here we have some guiding elements, guiding tabs, and here as well. So it's a well thought through design. So here I don't have anything to say, and also you can notice that the guiding elements are thin. So it's also a really good helper in the assembly process. So for the tires, we get the vinyl tires here. Unfortunately, no plastic wheels or plastic tires. Probably plastic rims are supplied here. But the vinyl tires, it's not my favorite thing, as some of you remember, but I will show them. I opened already the bag, so I think it's worth showing. As you can see here, we have a quite simple part, no details on the tire walls, but the tire pattern looks quite fine, so I think it's okay for out-of-the-box build, especially if you plan to dust it and apply some dirt, then, well, it should work in my opinion. Next, we continue with more parts for the drivetrain and suspension, and here it gets even more impressive because, as you remember, the finished model will not be that big, but note the amount of the small parts here, and all of these are leaf springs. For example, here are the wheel axles, again leaf springs here. We have even the steering wheel here, so I guess it's a mix of some interior parts together with all of this stuff which will be going for the suspension, but it's also good because, again, in 1/35 scale I think such features are very important, and it's also quite cool that manufacturer does not skip them or try to sell them separately. They just include it in the standard box, and you have a peace of mind, let's say, because you don't have to worry about buying them separately. Next, we continue with two identical plastic sprues. So here they are. And maybe I will zoom in so that you can see it. So here we have the wheel rims. We also have this special supports for the tarpaulin, and also we have the drum brakes. Overall it looks fine. I like that the wheel rims have only one attachment point, and if I flip it over here you can see the parts from the opposite side. Again, as usually I'm saying with these supports, these frames, some modelers prefer to replace them with the metal wire. It's already your call, because as far as I can see there is also some sophisticated, let's say, assembly required or shaping required, so that's why it is important to think before going into such let's say, modification. Next, here we continue with more parts for the truck. So these ones are obviously for the engine bay, and overall they look more or less okay as well. And I think there were also some storage boxes, so it looks good. Next, we continue with two identical sprues which are marked as T, and here, as you can see, again we have some storage boxes. We also get some parts for the side compartments, and I like that all of this stuff is actually copied with the plastic. But why I'm saying this, because there will be some small surprise in a good sense from this brand. And if you saw the previous reviews of this kit, you will already know what it is, but for now I won't, let's say the spoilers here. But the next sprue, you can see the engine and the gearbox. Again, another cool feature. And again, it's another opportunity to show something on your model. So in 1/35 scale, it should be, again, useful for some diorama projects. So definitely think about it and try to expose it maybe. But overall, I like that we get the engine without the need to purchase it separately, and maybe you can also find some reference material for that, and then you can get even better result. Next, we continue with the sprue, which I'm not even able... Oh, okay, so it's a sprue A. I was trying to find the letter on this flap. Okay, so I will just zoom out. As you can notice here, we have the front cap parts or panels. We also get the separate doors, and we also get this nice radiator grille here. And these are the chassis bars, the separate ones. And one is here, one is there, and both are molded together with the sleeve springs. Maybe it's worth zooming in. And here you can see what we have. And also here we continue with some other parts, which... we already discussed, but I think it's worth showing them together. And here, by the way, the fuel tank, as you can see, it's also assembled out of several parts. It's not a problem, but try to make the overall connection more or less smooth so that result will be even more convincing. And here from the opposite side, you can see that some parts, they actually have interior details, what is also useful in this type of build. But what I also wanted to say is that you can support me with a small donation. So if you're watching this review and you like what you see here and you want to see more interesting kits, do not forget that you can support me with the YouTube donation or with the big red button on the website, which is working through the PayPal, so it's even easier and faster. Here we continue also with the another front cap panel. So it's a windscreen, and also here we have the rear panel of the rear section, obviously. And here you can see it inside. We have some push marks, as you can notice, but they will be barely visible on the finished model. So I'm not sure if it's worth to be worried about such thing. Next, I'm opening another plastic bag. I guess these parts, these clear parts, they will be used for the front cap. So here they are. The molding quality looks great. I wonder if the masking templates will be included, because sometimes ICM does include it, sometimes they just skip over it. And in this kit, I think it will be even more handy, because you basically get a lot of clear parts in the rear section. And just to prove it, there is a separate plastic bag with 3 sprues of this type. I'm showing one of them. And as you can see, the molding looks great, but well, you will have to cover all of this somehow. And next, we also get the P part. So that's what I was talking about. Actually, there are several of them, so I'm trying to open it. It's unpainted P fret, and it comes without any film, but in the separate plastic bag. And it's a bit tricky to take it out, because it is quite a tender part, as you can see here. So this is the radiator grille mesh, and also here we have some logos which can be also installed on the truck. This is a cool addition, and as I said, it's quite unusual for ICM, but it's more than welcome. And of course, such fine features always look good on the final result. But that's not all. We also get the decal sheet, which is hidden in the assembly manual. So just give me a second. I will show it right now. Here it is. And as you can see, the printing quality is rather great. And we also have some posters here. So it will be interesting how all this stuff will be assembled. So let's check the assembly manual, which is printed like this. It's a large color printed brochure, so I'll have to zoom out, and I already closed the lenses so that you won't be blinded. We have the short history note, and we also get the paints numbers. Next, we have the parts map, and of course the red color means that these parts will stay untouched, so pay attention to what you are using in your build. But as you can see, all other sprues are pretty much used completely, so that's why it is also important not to break anything. Assembly process starts with the main chassis, so here you will straight away work with the main bars and the leaf springs. Here, by the way, we assemble the engine, and as you can see, a lot of parts are actually going in, but manufacturer does not show the wiring, so that's why I was saying that it's good to check some reference material, because you can replicate not only the engine wiring, but also maybe the brake lines, because as you can see, the suspension is rather nice here, and it would be a shame just to leave it as it is. And we didn't skip over the page, right? So here you can see the front cab assembly, and we can see also that decals are going in, and there are also some assembly options depending on the marking guide you will pick, so pay attention to this. Next, we continue with the side panels here. We also install the fenders, we install the radiator grille, we assemble the fuel tank. Next, here we continue with the stowage boxes, and also here we start working on the rear section, and as you can see, a lot of decals going in, so that's why I was saying that it's important to let's say strategize your painting process, because otherwise it will be quite a tricky thing to reach inside once you assemble this boxy structure all together. But I can see a lot of things are actually included in terms of the interior, so that's why it might be also a good idea to add some figurines here, and maybe also to add a bit more features even, because obviously we have here various furniture inside and other stuff, but it might be also a good idea to add some small items too. Next, we continue with the lower section. So obviously this frame supports for the rear section, and also we have here the wheel fenders, some thin parts going outside, including this tarpaulin curtains. Next, we install this rear section on the main chassis, and this should be quite an assembly, and I really wonder how it is just only 20 centimeters long. Next, we also have some clear parts going on the truck. We also have here, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a snorkel to me, or maybe some exhaust tube, so feel free to write in the comment section. But here we continue with the rear section, by the way, as well, and that's the separate leather. So we have two assembly options, and here you can see the difference, that you also get this roof deployed and some other stuff, including this leather. Next, we also have some marking guide for the interior, and as far as you can see, you can just cut it out and use it as the carpet for your build, which is rather cool. Here we continue with the first two marking options. This one is from 1942, and this one is also from 1943, and one more here is from 1945 in a bit more boring green version. But overall it looks like a rather nice release in the popular scale, especially with all of those interior parts. But that's not all. I mean, for the kit, what you get out of the box, it is all, but we also get this ICM will release this paint set, which can be used with this truck, and I think it's rather useful because here you get all of the necessary paint numbers, so you just buy this box and you are ready to build the truck. So definitely consider this, and of course I will be happy to hear your opinion. So if you have something to say about such build, write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.